Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Sketchy Legends. The point of this series is to learn something new and for me to find some new inspiration. Each episode, I'll pick a tale, an urban legend, a ghost story, or any sort of spooky event or occurrence, and create a piece of artwork inspired by it while I tell you about it. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if this all sounds interesting to you. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the first episode of Sketchy Legends. Lurking in the cold and snowy regions of the northern Atlantic of the United States and the southeastern regions of Canada, there is said to be a monster so insatiable that its hunger is never satisfied. The Algonquins, indigenous peoples of North America, have tales and legends of many creatures, but none is more frightening than that of the Wendigo. The Wendigo is believed to be that of an evil spirit who has an appetite for human flesh. However, no matter how much it eats, it is never full. The Wendigo constantly seeks out humans in order to try and satisfy its relentless hunger. Because the Wendigo has such a large appetite, it can never devour enough food to keep its body nourished properly. It is described to reach up to 14 feet in height and can be so emaciated that you see its ribs distinctly through its sallow skin. There are conflicting descriptions of certain physical features of the Wendigo. Some say it's covered in gray matted fur over its entire body, and others say that it has decaying yellow-tinged skin. However, the stories all have a few features in common. It has long, sharp teeth that are constantly on display because it lacks lips, as well as a long tongue. Its fingers and toes are large and claw-like, sometimes missing digits because the cold weather that it resides in is so harsh on its body that it constantly is losing parts. And lastly, it has glowing, yellow eyes that can see clearly in the darkest of forests. There are two main origin stories of the Wendigo. The first being that it was created when a group of humans became trapped in the frozen forests of the north. They quickly began to run out of food and started to become crazed from hunger. They began to feast on the flesh of the weak, but once they devoured the human flesh, they began to transform into monsters. This group of people had changed so much that they became totally indistinguishable as who they once were. They then realized that they couldn't go back to normal society and began to roam the forests on their own, but could never quite fill up. The second origin is that it used to be a tribal warrior who made a deal with evil spirits in order to protect his tribe. However, in return, he would have to eat the flesh of what he once was. Once his tribe was saved, he was no longer needed and was shunned because of his bloodlust and gruesome appearance, forced to wander aimlessly, constantly in search for its next meal. The Wendigo is strongly associated with cannibalism, having some tales of people being possessed by the spirit of the Wendigo and attacking their fellow people and transforming themselves into one of these creatures. It is said that there is a way to save someone from their fate of wandering the forest in search of food. They say that the human side is still intact, but it resides within the heart of the Wendigo, and in order to set them free, you must stab the creature in the heart and release the human spirit. Now, of course, there is one problem with this method. You are killing the creature. However, you also are killing the human that's remaining inside of it. Although the human is dead, their spirit is now free of evil and can pass on to the afterlife. There are rumors that there had been sightings of a Wendigo-like creature in the late 1800s in regions around the Minnesota area. The story goes that whenever the creature had been spotted, a disappearance of townfolk would follow. This went on for several years until either the hype died down or, quite possibly, the Wendigo moved on to a new location away from this particular town. Many believe that the Wendigo used to be a cautionary tale created by the tribes of the North during bouts of harsh, cold winters in order to deter their people from picking off members of the tribe in order for their own family to survive. Cautionary tale or not, the Wendigo is one of the most terrifying stories that surrounds the North American woods, causing people to think twice before wandering out into the forest. I chose to draw out the more humanistic version of the Wendigo, though you can use the word human rather loosely. I wanted it to have longer human-like legs and arms, as well as the facial features, though every bit of it is exaggerated. The other versions of it as a hairy beast, sometimes depicted with antlers, sort of like the antlers of a deer, I feel takes away from the fact that it's supposed to be descended from a human spirit. Disassociating it from the human form can sort of ease people's minds a little bit. Sometimes we feel a greater aversion to images that are loosely based off of the human aesthetic. I hope you guys have enjoyed the first episode of Sketchy Legends, and I hope to do many more of these in the future. Well, if you all like them, anyway. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to hear more stories. Tune in for some art tutorials, or even just to watch me draw. Head on over to my Instagram at j_dfury_art and follow me there to see a lot more of my artwork. I'm fairly active on there, so that's the place to get a hold of me if you have any questions. Well, thank you all for watching, and hope to see you next time.